For Fat Boy Racing, Finelli in that number 83 machine, starting 14th. Inside of that row, starting the 13th spot, his debut weekend here in the Indy Pro 2000 category from Montreal, Ontario, Canada, running for Turn 3 Motorsports. It's Antoine Cameau in the number 3, and again, he will start in that 13th position. Moving now to row number 6 on the outside from Markham, Ontario, Canada, coming off a strong 4th place finish on the streets of Toronto just 2 weeks ago. It's Antonio Serravalle in the number 11 for Passera Racing and Jay Howard Driver Development. Inside of that row, we were scheduled to have Corey Enders in the number 7 for D-Force Racing. Corey having to head home yesterday. We hope all is well. Moving now to row number 5, starting on the outside. Born in Moscow, Russia, living now in Los Angeles, California, coming off a strong 4th place finish yesterday in the exclusive Autosport number 90. Starting in the 10th spot, Nikita Lastashkin. Inside of row number 5, starting in 9th from Guadalajara, Mexico, but now living in San Antonio, Texas, Moises de Oliveira in the number 6 for D-Force Racing will start P9. We'll move now to row number 4. A couple of rookie drivers here in the program on the outside from California in the Fat Boy Racing number 98. It's Philippe Dennis. And on the inside, a driver who has been quick all weekend long, Jacob Abel in the Abel Motorsports number 51, scheduled to start in the 7th position. We'll move our way now up to row number 3 on the outside. This is a tough start for this young driver because the Swede, number 10, Rasmus Lint, is your point leader. He is going to start back in the 6th position. He will be on the move trying to get his way forward because the drivers battling him in the championship are further up the grid. Rasmus Lint from Sweden for Juncos Racing in the number 10, starting in the 6th position. Starting in the 5th spot inside of row number 3, it is Ian Rodriguez from Guatemala in the RP Motorsports Racing number 5. Rodriguez has been running well of late, a podium finish at Road America. He'll start from the 5th position. Podium yesterday as well for Rodriguez. Moving now to row number 2 on the outside from Idaho, the young American Stingray Robb in the number 2 for Juncos Racing. He'll start in the 4th position. Got very racy yesterday until he had an issue in turn number 4 with Rodriguez. That caused a minor penalty. Stingray Robb looking to get his first win in the series. He'll start in the 4th position here today. Inside of row number 2, the driver who has worked his way through the road to Indy, wins in USF2000, wins in Indy Pro 2000. He is working with Abel Motorsports to make sure they have the development they need on that race car. Parker Thompson in the number 8 machine from Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. He will start in that 3rd position. 14 drivers in the field. We'll put 2 on the front row and 2 very strong drivers on the outside from Singapore for exclusive Autosport. It is Daniel Frost in the number 68, a winner earlier this year at the Oval at Lucas Oil Raceway. Also a winner at Toronto just 2 weeks ago. He'll start that machine from the outside of the front row. But the driver with the most momentum here right now, 4 straight pole positions, 4 wins in the last 5 races. He's going to try to sweep the weekend here at Mid-Ohio like he did at Road America. From Jupiter, Florida, your pole sitter in Indy Pro 2000. The number 28 of Kyle Kirkwood. Kirkwood and Frost on row 1, Thompson and Robb on row number 2. Well, folks, it's time to light these cars up and get them underway. 280 horsepower behind every one of these drivers, and it's time to get them fired up. Joining me down here on pit lane to give the call we're waiting to hear, one of our guests of Cooper Tire, Kyle Wood, to give the command.
On behalf of everyone at Cooper Tire, drivers, start your engines!
And there it is, a passionate call to fire up the engines here today, John Phippen. It is time to go racing with the road to Indy. First up, Indy Pro 2000.
Thanks, Rob Howden, and welcome to all of you listening on the web as we welcome you to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the first race of the day for our road to Indy drivers, and that is the Indy Pro 2000 race number 2. Kyle Kirkwood took a dominant win yesterday. Can he repeat from the pole today? We'll see. That would be his 5th win on the season, but lots of hungry drivers right behind him, including Daniel Frost, who had an unfortunate tangle yesterday with Jacob Abel, and that put him back in the finishing order, but he still will have the opportunity to challenge for the lead at the front as they lead away from the pit lane, where I view them here overlooking the finish line, start-finish line here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We'll introduce the other voices you'll hear on the broadcast along myself and Rob as Rusty Bell picks up the cars as they head up toward the keyhole turn.
I'm just outside of turn 1 here at the pit exit underneath what is the Honda Bridge right now as they make their way up into the keyhole turn, a little short straightaway that's a straight shot into a 180-degree corner with an off-camber exit that causes a little bit of trouble, but that leads on to the long back straightaway, the 3,000-foot straightaway with a little kink in the middle that we call turn 3. I'm in the starter stand here, which for some of the races this weekend will be used. In this race, the start will happen on the pit straightaway in front of John, but I'm in that stand as they make their way by at the highest speed portion of the track as they lead into the heaviest braking area on their way into the S's.
And there they'll be picked up by Brian Culbertson. Hey, Brian.
Hey, John, and hello, Mid-Ohio and S's. Get ready to go. We had a great start with the Mazda MX-5 cars as they did plenty of passing down here in the S's. I expect the same with the USF Pro 2000 cars as they make their way by in the pace lap through the S's here. It's a great right-hand, left-hand, right-hand turn with a lot of elevation changes through this series of turns. As they go underneath the Honda Bridge and out of my view, they head to Thunder Valley.
And we pick them up as they come through turn. I'm sorry, John, I jumped you there. As they come through turn number 7, 8, 9, the right-handers at 8 and 9. Then up over a ridge. As they go down through Thunder Valley, they come up to a sweeping turn number 10 to the right. And then the left-hander very fast coming on in to turn number 11. John, looking forward to a good one.
That's a tour around the track as Rob Howden has joined me here in the commentary booth as he and I will have a chance to look over the TV monitor and call the action that you're seeing. Those of you joining us on the web, Rob, welcome back.
Always great to have everybody joining us here on the Road to Indy TV app. If you haven't downloaded it, make sure you do so. But, John, yeah, you and I will be keying on this race because we are looking forward to a good one here. Kyle Kirkwood, as we said, has so much momentum. You've been following his career coming up through the ranks. The momentum is there. He'll lead him onto the front straightaway. We have contact. No, a couple drivers together. Contact. They stacked them up coming here onto the front straightaway. Drivers involved, Antoine Comeau. Antoine Comeau of the Turn 3 Motorsports machine losing the front wing. John, just one of those issues where I think the leader didn't punch off. It's his call to punch off whatever he wants to essentially when they get the green. Everybody else getting a little more anxious and behind.
Yeah, I think Antoine Comeau just overcooked it just a little bit and probably got into the back of Nikita Lastishkin right in front of him. I don't know if Lastishkin has any damage to the car. Rusty, you might get a view on that. But we are under a yellow flag here at the start-finish line, but we're green on – no, we're not green on the rest of the course. They waved off the start.
Yeah, Antoine's still over here on the outside of the racetrack. And that was – I don't even know if that was Antoine's fault because I'm not sure if he was even punching off or somebody else actually jumping on the brakes. We're going to have a replay of this, guys. Let's have a look. Again, coming out here, you can see Kyle Kirkwood has not yet punched off, just going now. Drivers in the back locking up the brakes. Antonio Saravalli over the back of De La Vera. And then, as you said, I think Comeau getting into the back of Lastishkin.
And that was a chain reaction. You could see the brake smoke working its way back down the pack as everybody tried to accelerate before the front row was taken off. The AMR safety crew already on the scene. They're having a quick chat with Antoine Comeau to make sure he's okay.
Driver from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Tough one for Antoine. His debut weekend here at Turn 3 Motorsports in the Indy Pro 2000 category. But you feel bad for him, but I'll tell you, it was a good start for Kyle Kirkwood. He's the pole position. That's the benefit you get from qualifying on the pole. You're going to start first. You go first. They got past the line. Just as they come out of the final corner of the racetrack here, we have a sign that says RTI, Road to Indy. That is our start line. So the drivers cannot accelerate until then, but it's up to Kyle to accelerate whenever he wants. Everybody else got super antsy. He was able to get a good jump on Daniel Frost, and that's when the chain reaction, John, as you mentioned, happened behind.
Exactly right. So we'll go around one more time behind the safety car as the AMR safety crew has hooked up to the stranded car of Comeau, and they're going to get him pulled behind the barrier here. That should be a pretty quick extraction. I don't see any other issues, so we should be able to get started next time by.
So here's the guys coming into pit lane. Look to me like a flat left rear potentially for Nikita Lastishkin. Yep. De La Vera coming into pit lane as well. I'm kind of surprised that Comeau wasn't able to just refire and continue on. They got him out of the grass onto the track now. Ideally, they'll be able to fire him up. Maybe he was just stuck where he was, but they're going to pull that tow rope off, and he's just going to fire up that engine. He'll be able to come back around and put a new wing on it, but again, already down a lap. But Lastishkin and De La Vera, those drivers were involved in that chain reaction. John had mentioned he believed that Camo got into the back of Lastishkin, and then, of course, as well, Saravalli getting into the back of De La Vera. So the contact from the back, likely flat tires. I'm not sure if there's any damage to the back. I didn't see any damage to either car wing-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't appear to be, but both of the cars behind them were way up in the,
up in the air.
About a 45. It looked like stadium super trucks there for a minute.
And that's not what we're supposed to do.
That's not what you guys are supposed to do.
Not
exactly
our jam.
right. So I would not be surprised if there was some rear end damage and at least a flat tire or two, and that's what the repairs going on. So tough break for those two drivers, as although they were starting near the back of the pack, they're going to be at least perhaps a lap down. Camo's already a lap down. We'll see if De La Vera and Lashtis can get out in front of the pace car.
Here's another look at the replay, folks. You can see they're very slow coming up. See, they got
Yeah.
the little brake smoke right there.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that might have been Rasmus Lint from P6. It looks like he was ready to get going. That's where it all started. We saw the brake smoke from last year. If we can see it one more time now that we've picked it up, it looked to me like indeed Rasmus Lint just getting on the brakes and really locking it up, because I think he was ready to go, and then that's where the chain reaction happened. Here's one more shot at it, John. Outside of row number 3, the green and white Junko's car is Rasmus Lint. You see him getting ready to pump?
Actually, it was just in front of him.
That was Stingray Robb.
That was Stingray Robb, yeah.
It was the driver from P4 who locked the brakes up. Looks like, I believe, Lint got into the back of Robb a little bit, and then everything happened after that.
I thought we'd get the start this time by, but apparently we're going to go around one more time behind the safety car. As the field's, what's the issue here with the 68?
That's Daniel Frost. He's coming down pit lane. I'm not sure what's going on with Daniel Frost right now. He is slowed coming down the front straightaway.
And Saravalli down the pit lane as well.
That doesn't surprise me. Saravalli was one of those drivers who was 45 degrees up in the air, as you said. Daniel Frost falling to the tail of the field for some reason now.
Has he been perhaps issued a penalty? I don't know.
I don't think that he would have done anything that would have been a penalty that I could see on the track.
Yeah, he was on the front row. I mean,
indeed. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on here at this point here for Daniel Frost. Qualified really well to be on the outside of the front row. I'm not exactly sure what it is for Daniel Frost. Remember, he was involved in that tough incident yesterday with Jacob Abel down in turn number 4. Major contact, bad, heavy damage to both of those race cars. But Daniel Frost dropping to the tail of the field, almost like there was a reason for it. We'll see if we can't get some more information from some of our spotters from race control to find out indeed why Daniel falling to the tail of the field. Whether or not he was doing that just to check the car for a second, I'm not quite sure. Wow, so what they're saying right now, I'm being told that that Daniel Frost potentially not maintaining his speed at the start, so they were kind of pointing to Daniel Frost on that. Now
he set off the chain reaction, perhaps.
That's not
Stingray Robb was right behind him.
Yeah, that's not what I saw coming out of that track, out of the corner rather. It seemed to me like the front row was locked and loaded. He was right beside Kyle Kirkwood. So, man, that's a huge penalty for Daniel Frost. They're going to put him to the tail of the field coming out of the front straightaway. Now, let's say this. There is precedent of this happening. At the road course race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Kyle Kirkwood was on the outside of Rasmus Lint. Kyle got a bit of a jump early. They threw the yellow, and they put Kyle Kirkwood to the very back of the field. So we've seen this happen before, but from our vantage point, it seemed to me like the front row was locked and loaded. It looked to me like Stingray Robb was just getting ready to push off, getting ready to roll. That's a tough one for Daniel Frost. We know he has the speed, so keep your eye on the number 68 exclusive Autosport machine. Daniel, a winner 2 times this year on the Oval at Lucas Oil Raceway, and just a couple of weeks ago in Toronto on those tough city streets.
Kyle Kirkwood's going to have the front row to himself because they're going to go again with a 2x2 start from original grid position. So with Frost serving the penalty, Kirkwood comes alone to the flag.
Yeah, the open outside spot, John. Indeed, here we go. Driver spooling up and away we're at it. Daniel Frost getting a good run. He'll go by his teammate Listoshkin, and he's going to go to the inside of Finelli. Listoshkin's going to come with him, so a couple spots already for Daniel Frost. Kirkwood, though, gets an opening run. He'll come out of turn number 1, and again, that big run down to turn number 2, the keyhole, downhill, off camber, good start, good push later back. That's the 2 drivers, I believe. No, that's Parker Thompson going to the inside, I think.
Stingray
Robb. Rusty, they're in front of you.
Down the straightaway, Kirkwood with a big jump, being on that front row all alone, but side by side for second. Right now it's Parker Thompson on the inside with about a nose in front of Stingray Robb, but they're still side by side, Brian.
Still side by side. Oh, big wiggle there. Now comes out of, and I believe that was Stingray Robb's car, and it was. So Robb back into that 3rd spot. The number 8 of Parker Thompson into 2nd spot. Kyle Kirkwood trying to get away here, but looks like 2nd place might catch him, Tom.
Right now, equidistance 1st to 2nd, And now pulling up is Stingray Rob, probably 2 car lengths off the rear wing of Parker Thompson.
Yeah, tough day for Parker Thompson yesterday, guys. It was actually an actuator on the gearbox. He was stuck in gear, wasn't able to change it at all. The guys from Elite Engines did whatever they could and tried everything possible. It was the actual actuator. He was very disappointed at the end of yesterday, but he wants to come back here strong for Able Motorsports, running second spot, and we'll definitely look at the splits. 0.7 of a second this time by Kyle Kirkwood, your leader. They'll work their way out of turn number 1 once again. It's that long run down to turn 2. Keep an eye, though, folks, you around the racetrack, on Nikita Lastishkin and Daniel Frost are now 9th and 10th coming across the line and getting ready to go to work here now on Jacob Abel. That'll be a battle for that 8th position, but you can see the gap here, folks, those of you watching on the Road to Indy TV app. Kyle Kirkwood, a pretty solid advantage right now over Parker Thompson, and at this point we'll start looking at splits. A 1:21.1 the opening lap for Kyle Kirkwood. You can see how that has already helped him pull away a little bit at this time. Stingray Rob having a strong run here in that third spot. Rasmuth Lint finally able to get by Ian Rodriguez. And that's the thing about Rasmuth Lint. He's thinking championship the whole time, but man, we got a battle coming down the hill. We'll look at that further back. Tom, they're coming in front of you. I think that's going to be a fight between Moises De Oliveira and Jacob Abel.
Yeah, we watch as that goes by us right now. No change as they come through and into Thunder Valley right now.
It's actually Philippe Dennis, John, that was in there in the Fat Boy Racing yellow machine. He was going at it with De Oliveira as well. And the funny thing is it's Abel, Lastoshkin, and Frost just waiting to pounce to get one of these drivers to do something, make a move, because we're coming by.
De Oliveira, of course, one of the cars involved in that incident at the start, but looks like the car is okay. He's already up to 6th position, getting around Philippe Dennis. Ian Rodriguez back 1 spot to 5th as Rasmus Lint, the points leader, up into 4th spot.
Daniel Frost, one of our championship challengers, and I can tell you he's going to start getting frustrated. This is a longer race. It's a 25-lap race. We've got only a couple in the books right now, 5 laps in after that early yellow flag, but Frost is going to start to get frustrated. He's going to try to get aggressive. You can see some moves coming right now, just kind of getting those tires to come in. It'll take, as you know, John, 4 or 5 laps to get the heat built in to these Cooper tires, and once they're at that optimum, then we can start going to work. I'm really liking that battle, though. 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Dennis, Abel, Lastoshkin, and Frost, and they've actually closed up to within maybe 2 car lengths now of Moises De Oliveira.
Yeah, that's pretty much a 4-way battle. Tom Michaels, that's just coming over the hill into your view once again. It's the best battle on the track.
Absolutely. The 6th car goes by as Moises De Oliveira. His advantage over the 7th place car of Dennis. Right now, 3 car lengths as they head into 11.
John, the interesting thing is Daniel Frost is behind his teammate Nikita Lastishkin, so although he's definitely going to start getting a little more anxious, he wants to make that pass, he's going to have to be a little more ginger with it because you don't want to, rule number 1.
Don't take out your teammate.
Take out your teammate. So Daniel's got the speed. He qualified on the outside of the front row. He just hasn't been able to use it yet after that really tough penalty at the very start. Now, as I said, that's a penalty. It was tough. We're not sure if that's what we saw coming out of the corner. You got to give it up to race control, but we have seen a penalty like that happen before. Here comes Frost. He's going to look to the inside now of his teammate. No, that's actually Lastoshkin on the outside. Lastishkin to the outside, Rusty, of Jacob Abel.
Working on that now, down onto the straightaway. That group that we've been talking about, 7th on back, nose to tail right now. All 3 of them driving defensively. Lastoshkin on the inside trying to hold that spot.
Trying to hold that spot in a battle out in front of them. Almost 3 wide at the exit of turn number 4. Everybody goes back to single file. Nikita L going to hold his position as he makes his way underneath the Honda bridge, but that definitely is the best battle on the track.
Absolutely, but I'll tell you what, our leader has not been able to put as much distance between himself and Parker Thompson as he would like to. Thompson just off the rear wing of the 28 car of Kyle Kirkwood.
Tom, you read my mind. Kirkwood got away yesterday to a big win, but right at the moment, we're just watching this battle at the back as Daniel Frost all over Nikita Lastoshkin trying to take over that position.
Yeah, Daniel's getting aggressive. He looked to the inside at turn number 10, 9, and 10. There are 8 and 9 coming up over Madness into that right-handing turn number 9. He was trying to get to the inside. He needs to get by Nikita Lastishkin right now. But as we look at lap times, Thompson was quicker than Kirkwood last lap. This particular lap, Kirkwood quicker again by just a 10th. 0.7 of a second separating first and second. But again, the biggest battle is Daniel Frost really trying to get by his teammate Lastishkin. And of all their teammates, you know that they're trying to hold each other back. Jacob Abel's been able to get a little bit of room now, John. He's going to go to work here on Philippe Dennis. Abel, though, has been a top 5 driver all weekend. In all the time charts, he's been fast. Philippe Dennis, though, going to the inside, Brian, in turn number 4.
Yeah, he gets that pass done.
Abel's
And
coming
Nikita Abel's up in there. He is looking to the inside, down into 6. Boy, that's tight. Abel still side by side. Tom Michaels, what a great battle coming at you through 7.
You better believe it. We got a lot of twitcher between the cars back there. The 6, the 51, the 90, all of them making through in the order as they came through here. Nikita Laskoshin in that battle as well. But Kirkwood able to stretch it out his lead over Thompson a little bit more that lap.
Let's give it up right there for Jacob Abel and De La Vera side by side through 6, 7, 8, over to 9. And again, both Lastushkin and Frost getting frustrated now. They know they're quicker than both of these drivers, but this track is so hard to pass on if you're not getting out of the keyhole well enough. Kirkwood now leading by over a second. He's 4/10 quicker on that last lap. Kyle Kirkwood leads, Parker Thompson second. Third is Stingray Robb. Fourth is Rasmuth Lint. Fifth is Ian Rodriguez. And again, a good battle here right now for the third spot. Rasmuth Lint trying to go to work on his teammate. But again, the cameras here on our coverage on the Road to Indy app focusing big time on this battle from 6th back into 10th.
Abel making a move on Lastushkin, or on De La Vera. Coming into your view, Brian.
And he gets that move done. So he moves up 1 spot. The 6 car able to get that pass done. De La Vera at the end of the back straightaway. Oh, man. For our Daniel Frost tries to make a big move in turn number 6, and they almost hit down there. Tom Michaels' teammates going at each other.
Yeah, that 68 car had a little bit of a twitch as it came through turn number 9 that time. Gets in behind his teammate once again, but right now, those cars up into the carousel turn. Continue to watch that second place battle between Robb and Lynn.
I'll tell you right now, Daniel Frost, if he can get by his teammate, he's not going to be quite so kind with the other drivers in front of him. He has looked inside numerous times. Battle in front of you right now. That's that fight for the top driver in the Juncos Racing Camp. Stingray Robb in 3rd, Rasmuth Lint 4th. There's the lead you're seeing there for Kyle Kirkwood over Parker Thompson, back to 3rd and 4th. Big gap back to Ian Rodriguez, driving by himself in the RP Motorsports number 5. The driver out of Guatemala, currently 5th. He's got a 6.3 second lead on Philippe Dennis, who kind of leads that next battle. Dennis with a 1.4 second advantage now over De La Vera. De La Vera seems to me like he's kind of holding everybody back up. He just doesn't have quite the pace here right now. Abel continues to go to work on him, but we'll watch it here. There's that lead. Pretty solid run through 8 and 9. Thompson still trying to push to close up on Kirkwood. And that as they come into Thunder Valley, that's the gap. I want to see if maybe Stingray Robb's closing up as well from 3rd to 2nd. Here's your fight again. De La Vera 7th, Abel 8th, Lastushkin 9th, and Daniel Frost in 10th. He has just not been able to get by his teammate yet, John. As I said, he has been very aggressive, show to nose a couple of times. I think if it weren't Nikita, we may have seen a more aggressive move by Daniel Frost.
15 laps remaining in this one as we come across the line to complete race lap number 10. Working race lap 11. Philippe Dennis having a great run now. Once he got by De La Vera, he's been able to check out. He's a long way back, almost 6 seconds behind Ian Rodriguez.
And no quicker either. I don't think he's going to be able to reel in Rodriguez unless we get a yellow flag. But otherwise, a good run for Dennis to get away from that pack. Daniel Frost, though, you know he's got to be getting frustrated. And they'll be on the radio with Lastushkin saying, Nikita, make this happen. Get by Jacob Abel. Let's get aggressive here right now, or let Daniel come by, let him do it. Because if one goes by, depending on where it is, you could think that maybe both exclusive Autosport cars are able to sneak by.
3 wide coming to you, Brian.
Yeah, Abel on the outside trying to get that done. Can't get it done. Frost working on his teammate big time. This is going to come to tears, guys. They are making some big risks here. Abel looking at the exit of turn number 6. Tom Michael coming at you. Really good battle with Abel trying to get around.
Again, we watch the 6, the 51. Abel trying to move up, unable to do so right now, and lose a little bit of momentum as they come up through Thunder Valley.
De La Vera doing the best he can now to hold off these guys behind him. And these guys have been quick all weekend. As I said, Jacob Abel, of course, top 5 runner in most of the practice and the qualifying earlier on, had that issue yesterday. Lastishkin with 4th yesterday. Of course, Daniel Frost starting on the outside of the front row. So De La Vera with the elbows up trying to hold back. Watching the lap times coming down here for Stingray Robb as well. Watch the leaders work their way around. That's Philippe Dennis. That's the gap he has. Here's a deep move right now. Lastishkin to the inside of Jacob Abel. Does he hold it coming out? Rusty up turn number 2.
He's trying to hold it down the straightaway right now as I can see him making their way through the kink. It is the 68 car, I believe, in that spot right now, but they're still 3 wide, Brian.
Still 3 wide, making their way through there. We'll see if any, nope, no changes there in that position. Well, actually there is.
Yeah. Daniel
There
Frost,
is a big
guys.
change there as they make their way through the S. 68 has fallen back 1 spot, 2 spots as they come through the S's.
Daniel Frost able to go in past his teammate Lastishkin and immediately able to go by Jacob Abel. You watch Daniel Frost now. He's going to make short work, I believe, of Moises De La Vera when he gets there. Frost, an aggressive young driver, such a talent. 3 races last year in USF2000 was exclusive Autosport. Jumped up to a full season here in Indy Pro. Here's a kid that could come back next year and be your championship challenger because he has got that much skill working with exclusive Autosports. Of course, a race-winning team here in Indy Pro 2000. Watch for he and Lastishkin to try to see if they can't roll up on De La Vera. But, guys, you picked it up. Stingray Robb quicker by 0.2 of a second than Parker Thompson. They are really starting to close up. And, Brian, they're going to be in front of you soon. I think Robb's going to try to make a move here pretty soon on Thompson.
Not only is he's one of the fastest guys on the track, he's turned the fastest lap of the race so far. Stingray Robb, he's actually got a handful. That car's got a huge push between 4 and 5. He's sawing at the wheel and going fast. Stingray Robb putting on the best race I've seen him in, and he is reeling in second place. Tom, they're in front of you.
Yeah, putting a lot of steering in that car. He's trying to chase down the second place car, Parker Thompson. Right now, good bit of distance between he and Thompson.
Watch when they come back around here. We're going to see Daniel Frost have made the move on De La Vera. Now Frost will set out to try to close up on Philippe Dennis. Your leaders coming out of the final corner here around start-finish, 13 laps down. We still have a number of laps still to go for you here. 12 laps remaining in a 25-lap contest. New fast lap laid down here by Parker Thompson, challenged by Stingray Robb from the back, and he lays down a 1:17 flat. First driver to do a flat. Parker Thompson 1.1 seconds behind Kyle Kirkwood, but he is starting to feel the heat as well from the American Stingray Robb from P3. He's been able to pull almost a second away from his teammate Rasmus Lint. So a driver who comes in here, John, with such a point lead. Rasmus has been very consistent throughout the season. He obviously wants wins. Every driver will tell you, I'm just going to win races. I'll let the championship take care of itself. But it's these decent races that stay in the top 5 that still get the job done for you. Rasmus was not one of the guys to win in Toronto, but had another good finish, a couple good finishes. Same thing here right now, really just consistent for Rasmus.
Yeah, and again, consistency wins championships. I mean, as you look at his order, he's only got 2 wins, but he's been on the podium 6 times.
That's it.
And I mean, that's kind of consistency is what makes it happen. And he's got a 24-point lead over Kyle Kirkwood, who has won now 4 in a row, or not 4 in a row, but 4 wins on the season.
Yeah, 4 of the last 5 and 4 of the last 4 poles. I like this run here by Daniel Frost. 2.4 seconds behind Philippe Dennis. Quicker by 0.6 of a second last time by. We're going to watch that gap continue to shrink as Philippe Dennis and the Fat Boy Racing Machine will work his way out of the carousel. There's De La Vera, followed by Lastishkin. He has not been able to get by, didn't come with his teammate. So Lastishkin right behind De La Vera, Abel right there as well. That's still a good battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Yeah, I don't know if Abel's maybe a little gun shy in today's race after being involved in
That's
that
true.
incident yesterday.
Yeah, good point.
But nonetheless, he's not been able to make the move forward as his teammate has.
And again, for Jacob Abel, this is all about 2020. He's here trying to gain him as much experience as he can. That's why Parker Thompson is here, a very veteran and experienced teammate in the road to Indy. He developed this PM18 for exclusive Autosport last year, helped them come up with the setup that they've used to be able to win races as they did last year with Parker. So this year really for Jacob all about next year. So you're right, John. There's no sense throwing it away here. He's not in a championship battle. Why not get a feel for what it's like running behind a car? If the gap is there, he'll take it. But otherwise, make sure you bring it home and get the laps.
Yeah, he's got a big lead over Saravalli, so he doesn't really have to worry about anybody behind him. As we continue to follow on the camera, this battle for third and fourth, between the 2 teammates on Juncos Racing as Stingray Robb and Rasmus Lind it's been stable for the last couple laps, right about 1 second.
That's first, second, third, and fourth right for you there, folks, coming under the bridge for turn number 1. The gap now 1.4 seconds, Kirkwood over Thompson. He is just steamrolling right now. This would be 5 wins in the last 6 races. Remember, he reset the single-season record, winning the championship last year in the Cooper Tires USF2000 program. 13 wins, eclipsing the record that was held by J.R. Hildebrand for so many years. He's on a roll right now. If he wins here, 5 of the last 6 races, and we still have 5 more races to go. Could he win 11 races on the season and grab the championship by the time we get to Laguna Seca?
I think it's certainly history would say has shown that is certainly a possibility when it comes to Kyle Kirkwood.
Not out of the realm of possibility for sure. It's a discussion we could be having because this kid is a talent, kind of following in the footsteps of his good friend Oliver Askew.
Yep.
Winning the USF2000 championship.
Both from Jupiter, Florida.
And we always wonder what's in the water in Jupiter, Florida. So Lastishkin trying to find a way by as well. There's your leader coming through the carousel. Such a tough part of this racetrack. And, John, you've called so many races here. When you come through that corner, even if you're the leader, you're running up front, it's one of those corners where you're good at it, but you make one mistake coming over the hill. I don't care if you're the fastest driver here. You can make a mistake and end up in the grass or into the gravel.
Exactly right, and it's a very important corner because turn 1 is a very high-speed turn. If your car's working at all there, if you lose a little bit of a hiccup here, the guy behind you could get a great run all the way up to the keyhole turn and really make your life miserable. So it's a very important corner on this racetrack.
Rasmuth Lint about 0.3 of a second quicker than his teammate. He's cut that gap that was once over a second down to just 0.7. So Rasmuth, in his mind, actually he and I and Stingray Rob did a Q&A yesterday, and we talked a little bit about being teammates and about the championship with Rasmuth. I like this battle of Rusty in front of you. Brian's going to get it as well. Here comes Daniel Frost.
Around the outside right now, Philippe Dennis. He's got the outside line. Dennis trying to hold him off on the inside.
Dennis stays right there. Frost stays. Frost gets the pass done as he makes his way up into turn number 5. And another battle right back there side by side. Abel trying to hold that position off. They work their way through 5. It's still side by side. Tom Michaels, we'll see how this plays out. 3 turns in a row, side by side. Tom Michaels headed for you. We'll see who gets that position.
Well, the car that gets that position is the number 6. So Moises de Oliveira able to hold on as they come through turn number 7 and 8. And now has the position.
Moyes is doing everything he can to hold everyone off. A good battle with he and Jacob Abel. But what did I say about Daniel Frost? The minute he was able to get out, I knew he was moving. He has already checked out on Philippe Dennis. Let's have a look at lap times. He's now 9.3 seconds behind Rodriguez, but that's just not going to happen. He was a couple of tenths quicker. He's so far behind now. He'd need a yellow. But again, we're watching potentially a battle for third spot as the leaders have already worked their way down the straightaway. We're watching again. There's that gap there. Here comes a good battle. This is Abel continuing to try to go to the inside of De Oliveira, but the battle for third starting to heat up a little bit. We'll watch lap times between Stingray Robb in the number 2 and Rasmuth Lint in the number 10. Both those drivers, John, 1:17.2. They're quicker than the leaders right now, that battle for third and fourth.
Exactly right. Kyle Kirkwood controlling the pace with about a 1.5 second lead over Parker Thompson, but the battle is hot between the Juncos teammates as when they come into the carousel turn. About 3 car lengths, I would call it, for Rasmus Lind. He was able to move up onto the box yesterday in a late race maneuver over his teammates. So can history repeat itself? We've got 7 laps to go.
Note from our pit reporters out on the racetrack, contact between Abel and De Oliveira. Guys, pick it up. We got a spin on track.
We got the number 6 car of Moises de Oliveira. He spun it, went around a couple of times before he winds up in the pea gravel here, and I seriously doubt he's able to get that car
what corner are we at,
by
guys?
himself. That's in turn number 9.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Turn 9. Now, could that bring out a yellow, you think, Tom?
Thinking. Race Control is talking about it right now on the radio, and they have not yet made the decision.
He's stuck. There's nowhere he's going.
Well, Tom's giving us the update. He's not going anywhere, whether or not we see a yellow. 1.4 seconds now, the gap between the leader, Kirkwood, and Thompson. Were we going to see a full course yellow? Indeed,
yep,
we are.
Here it comes.
Full course yellow. Let's start this all over again. The AMR safety team will get out to Moises de Oliveira in turn number 9 quickly. As Tom had said, off the racetrack, it's stuck. They'll do what they can to get him out here. 7 laps to go. Oh, yes.
I'll tell you who's doing a fist pump in the cockpit right now. Daniel Frost.
Oh, no
Because he is
kidding.
going to be right up on the back of Ian Rodriguez now. He was 9 seconds behind and probably relegated to a 6th position. But this yellow comes at a perfect time for him to pounce and maybe get himself into the front, the conversation for the podium.
When you talked about fist bump, I was going to say everybody behind Kyle Kirkwood, but you're right. Maybe not Rodriguez, because he had a 5th position pretty much locked. It was about an 8-second gap back to Daniel Frost. But, John, you were bang on. Daniel Frost in the exclusive Autosport number 68. He got that penalty at the start for not maintaining his speed, put him to the tail of the field. He showed great patience. And I'm going to say this about Daniel, because here is this young driver, rookie here in Indy Pro 2000, only 3 races last year in USF,
right,
to be able to show that patience and not get too over aggressive. You could easily overcook a corner. You're battling with your teammate Lastishkin. You got to be smart. He finally gets by, rockets his way up to the 6th position. Now he's going to have a chance to go to work. 6 laps left. What do you think? 6 laps left. Let's have a look at the replay. We actually may get a bit of the shot here. Here's De La Vera. He just overcooks it going into the corner. Yeah,
that's pretty much the same thing Joseph Newgarden did yesterday. Just overcooked it going through turn number 8 and wasn't able to get anywhere near the apex, hooked his wheels over the outside there of the gator's teeth, and around he went.
Pretty quickly it happens. And again, you can see as he came through, just didn't get himself far enough to the left-hand side to be able to late apex coming through turn number 8. The car pushed out on him. And as John said, onto the rumble strips and around the car went for De La Vera. Issue for Charles Finelli, I saw that earlier. He came to a stop at the end of the front straightaway, just on the side of the retaining wall on the inside of the racetrack. They've pushed Finelli back off, so that'll be an 11th place finish for Finelli. He joins Antoine Camo and Moises De La Vera as non-finishers here. 10 drivers remain on the racetrack, and we'll stack them up behind our Road to Indy pace car.
Camo actually is running. He'll take over that 11th spot. Right. Yeah, Camo came in and got a new wing, so
pardon me.
He's still running. And on the lead lap, as it turns out.
So here we go. This is interesting because Kyle Kirkwood's going to have to defend against a very hungry Parker Thompson. Stingray Rob's got his teammate Rasmuth Lint right there. So Rasmuth in his mind is, hey, do I hold this spot? Could be a little chaotic. I'm the point leader, but the guy in front of me is on a roll right now. I need to get as many points as I possibly can. Let's see what happens here. So that's a couple of battles. Look at Parker Thompson to go after Kirkwood quickly. Look at Rasmuth Lint to try to get his teammate. We'll put lap 20 in the books as they come across the line here. There'll be 5 laps remaining.
De La Vera's been extracted from the gravel trap. Here he comes slowly.
Good pickup.
I'm guessing he'll make a call to the pits just to check because he has nothing to lose at this point.
Indeed.
He's already a lap down.
So with him out right now, you got to figure we're going to get green this next time by. Guys, there'll be 4 laps remaining here in Indy Pro 2000. Kirkwood, Thompson, Rob, Lint, and Rodriguez top 5. Daniel Frost, the lottery winner, as John had mentioned, started at the very tail of the field after that penalty, raced his way patiently back up to 6th spot, and he's going to get a shot now at going after the driver who is in P5, Ian Rodriguez. Looks to me like a flat left front potentially for...
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Now, I wonder if that may have been why he went off the racetrack coming through turn 8. The tire laying down potentially.
It could be getting it up on the gator's teeth, flattened it as well. I mean, it's anybody's guess whether it was a cause of the spin or a result of the spin.
Indeed. So again, guys, Kyle Kirkwood is no stranger to leading races at restarts. He does a tremendous job of it, and that was one of the reasons why he was able to win so many events last year en route to that USF2000 championship, which of course gave him that scholarship. And that's one of the key parts of this Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tire program. You win a championship here, you are winning a significant scholarship that will pay for a vast majority of your budget moving forward. And again, we saw Kyle Kirkwood win last year. Of course, he's moved to Indy Pro. Last year, Renus VK winning in the Indy Pro category, win that championship. He's got the Soul Red Mazda colors, of course, the last year of our Mazda scholarship. Renus VK and Indy Lights. Now, that's the thing. Every one of these drivers wants to continue moving. They want to follow in the footsteps of a Renus VK, of an Oliver Askew, of a Spencer Piggott. And they know if they win here, they've guaranteed themselves a spot on the Indy Lights grid next year. And that's just one step away from the NTT IndyCar Series. And that is why this is so important. Drivers coming up out of Thunder Valley now. Kyle Kirkwood. He will be in charge of the pace. Again, I told you about that little flag when they come out of turn number 12. I think that's we're not using that potentially for the restarts, just for the starts. So they come out of the carousel, And we'll spool things up. We're back at it. 4 to go. Green, green, green. Great start for Kyle Kirkwood. Here comes a pass. Stingray Rob looking to the inside of Parker Thompson. I think he may have got the job done.
Oh, he's side by side through turn 1, a really difficult spot to be in. It looks like Parker Thompson lost 2 spots right now. May lose 3 now as he's side by side, the top of the keyhole. May hold that battle off and may settle into a 4th spot around the top of the keyhole. But 2 cars going around Parker Thompson right in the middle of the corner here. We'll see if Parker Thompson's able to get back. He's still under a big challenge from Frost now coming down the outside, Brian.
Frost trying to make that move as he comes into turn number 4. Stingray robs his 2nd spot. He is having a great race, your points leader. Lynn there into the 3rd spot. This is going to be great fun watching Stingray Rob and Lynn go at each other. Teammates, the points leader in 3rd. Tom Michaels coming at you.
Absolutely. There is some dirt on the racetrack from the car that spun, but everybody, well, the number 3 car is having some problems getting through that, but the leaders easily get through that in turn 9.
Kyle Kirkwood more than happy to have those drivers battling behind him, the 2 competitors from Juncos Racing, Stingray Rob and Rasmuth Lynn. A tough start for Parker Thompson, just did not get on the throttle quick enough, and they were able to swallow him up going to turn number 1. Parker Thompson sliding into the 4th position. Daniel Frost able to get by Rodriguez on that start as well, so move Daniel Frost up into the 5th spot. 3 laps remaining here in Indy Pro 2000, but it's a 1.4 second lead for Kyle Kirkwood. He's able to jet away, letting everybody else battle behind him, but you got to give props for Stingray Rob, John. He was aggressive on the start. He saw that Parker Thompson got caught napping a bit, and a good move into turn number 1.
Yeah, and you know he is going to look for a little redemption here in this race because he lost that podium spot yesterday very late in the race on the very last lap. Ended up finishing back in 5th spot with an issue as the car gave a little hiccup. He would like very much to be able to hold off his teammate right now and maintain this 2nd spot.
To update on Stingray Rob yesterday, remember there was that light contact he and Rodriguez down in turn number 4. He was actually instructed by race control to give the spot back. We thought it potentially could have been a mechanical. He was instructed to give the spot back, and in doing so, the problem was Lasterkin was able to slip by as well. It's very tough.
He gave 2 spots
to
back.
give up the 1 spot when everybody's so hungry. So again, as you said, this will be redemption for Stingray Rob, currently in that 2nd position. There's your leader, though. That's the gap he's been able to develop as the drivers work their way through the carousel. Kirkwood, Rob, cross the line. 2 to go. 2 laps remaining. Watching the lap times as well. Stingray Rob, 2/10 off of that of Kirkwood, but almost identical lap times with Rasmuth Lint. Parker Thompson hold on to the 4th spot. Ian Rodriguez able to get back by Daniel Frost. So Rodriguez not giving up here at all.
Yeah, he's not laying down at all. He's the teammate, of course, to our leader, Kyle Kirkwood. And, you know, I give a tip of the hat to RP Motorsport. This is their 1st season with the series, and they're getting it together, finding how to get the car ready and get it working for Kyle Kirkwood and Ian Rodriguez as they're coming on strong here in the 2nd half of the season.
2nd season for RP. They had Harrison Scott last year and a number of different drivers. Lodovico Larini was one of the drivers they had. Raul Guzman ran for them last year as well, as did Mateus Soler-Obel. But you're right, 2nd year in this series, they were able to learn a lot last year, but bringing in Kyle Kirkwood, a champion driver who knows these racetracks and knows how to win at these racetracks. They struggled early in the season, as I had said, but as soon as they kind of came together, the confidence you have as a driver, the momentum, the team working together, the engineer, the driver, you know, once they have that confidence and belief in each other, that is so, so tough to beat.
Getting word from our pit reporters, Charles Finelli was put out, lost fuel pressure in the car, so probably a fuel pump problem.
Big update. Thank you for the guys down on pit lane. Kirkwood across the line. The white flag will fly. Final lap here for the drivers in Indy Pro 2000. No challenge whatsoever. Kyle Kirkwood on his way to his 5th win in the last 6 races. If you're Rasmuth Lint, this is not what you want to see. If they come across the line as they are now, if we have no changes with Lint in 3rd spot, the lead in the points will be down to just 12. 12-point lead. Good battle further back, though, as well. That is Daniel Frost and Nikita Lastushkin, the 2 leaders, the 2 exclusive Autosport teammates, guys, going at it.
They're going at it down the straightaway, and actually they've caught the car in front, or the car behind has caught them. It's 3 wide, Brian.
3 wide for just a moment there. It's 2 wide as they bend their way through. Nikita touches right there. Again, we got a car that comes off right between 4 and 5.
Abel.
It's the 51 car of Jacob Abel, and he is high-centered right here. Don't know if he's going to be able to continue.
Doesn't
Headed
matter.
for you, Tom.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, guys. Last lap on the racetrack, so he is gone. They're going to cap this race off this time by Kyle Kirkwood. Leads it out of the Thunder Valley into the carousel. Kyle Kirkwood, 2.2 seconds, and even with Abel stranded over there in turn number 5, it does not matter because back-to-back jacks here at Mid-Ohio. Kyle Kirkwood wins for RP Motorsports Racing. What a run for the young driver from Florida. Juncos Racing, 2nd and 3rd. Great result for Stingray Robb. He finishes 2nd. Rasmus Lint in 3rd. Parker Thompson comes home 4th. Ian Rodriguez in the 5th spot. Daniel Frost ends up P6 after starting dead last after the issue. Nikita Lastishkin in 7th. Philippe Dennis 8th. Antonio Serravalle 9th. Jacob Abel on that issue going to 10th. And Antoine Camo coming home in the 11th position. But what do you say about Kyle Kirkwood right now, John Phippen? Like, this guy is on a roll. He is dangerous. He's got the points now down to just 12 back. We go to Gateway, the Oval next. Rasmus Lint needs to step things up.
Exactly, and on the Oval they get bonus, points and a half at the Oval. So I mean, Kirkwood could conceivably take the points lead at the Oval if Rasmus Lint doesn't have a good run. So this championship battle is going to go right down to the wire.
But add up another podium for Rasmus Lint. He's only been off the podium 2 times this year. The consistency is still there. He's just got to get back to his winning ways like what he had at the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. These guys battled it out last year in USF2000. They're doing it again here this year in Indy Pro. But congratulations to Kyle Kirkwood. Tremendous run for him. 5 wins in the last 6 races. I'm starting to remember what it was like last year when he was piling up the wins everywhere we went. Deja vu all over again for the young American.
Yeah, like I say, and I followed his career through F4 and F3, and he was the same way. He was a juggernaut in both of those championships. His very first season, he finished, 2nd or 3rd in the championship. But boy, the second season, it was all Kirkwood all the time in F4 and in F3. So he is looking to getting back to those winning ways. And confidence breeds confidence.
Yes.
I mean, there's just no other way around it. There's something about momentum, and these drivers just feel better about themselves. They feel better about how the car is set up, and it just goes from strength to strength.
And the driver trusts the engineer, and the engineer trusts the feedback from the driver when you're winning, and that just keeps feeding itself, as you said. Wins breed wins. Kyle Kirkwood, there's your official results, unofficial results rather. We have not done tech, and we have potentially penalties, you never know. Kyle Kirkwood with the win. Stingray Robb and Rasmus Lint, those are the 3 drivers we'll take to victory lane. Parker Thompson was 2nd, not a great restart. He falls to 4th, but still a good run. And lots of data logged for Able Motorsports for the 2020 season. Ian Rodriguez able to get back around Daniel Frost. That was a great battle at the end of that one. Frost and Lastishkin, the 2 exclusive Autosport drivers, fighting their way forward, finally able to get by Moises de Oliveira and then Philippe Dennis. So congrats to both of those drivers. Dennis in 8th, Serravalle 9th, and Jacob Abel in the middle of that battle with Frost and Lastishkin at the very end. He caps off the top 10.
Yeah, it only cost him a couple spots, so it's not all bad. And again, he's learning. He's a young driver. He'll be coming back strong even next year.
That's it. They're capping things off. Jeremy Shaw, John's going to be down in victory lane for Indy Pro. I'll head down to the grid because we're going to come right back with USF2000.
USF2000 race number 2 on the weekend coming up. We'll stand down for just a second while Jeremy Shaw gets everything organized down in Victory Circle, and then we'll throw it down to Rob for pre-race leading up to race number 2 for the Cooper Tires USF2000.
gorgeous South Florida morning here at the Palm Beach International setting to test out the new Cooper Xeon RS3 G1 tires.
It's a pretty brave move to put these tires on straight-up race cars.
The race truck is the perfect scenario for this particular tire.
All day they were great, super predictable on the breakaway.
The tires, they seem like they have a lot of grip. You'll get a lot of use out of the tires.
For 15 seasons, the Castrol Toyota Racing Series has led the way in New Zealand motorsport. With 170 drivers and 276 races so far, the graduates have made their mark in international motor racing. This is the pathway for the world's young drivers. And this series hits the racetracks of New Zealand for 5 weeks every year on the quest to find the next world champion.
All 3 series on the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires invaded the picturesque Road America facility in June, taking to the challenging 4.1-mile, 14-turn circuit that they refer to as America's National Park of Speed. Juncos Racing's Rinus VK dominated the speed charts all weekend in the Indy Lights presented by Cooper Tires, scoring the pole for both races of the doubleheader. At the start of race 1 on Sunday, VK showed the only chink in his armor, going 4 wheels off on his first run through the very challenging Turn 7, bringing the car back under control as Andretti Autosport's Robert McGinnis attacked to capitalize on the error. VK defended aggressively to his left, which was dealt with swiftly by the race stewards, who issued the Dutch driver a stiff drive-through penalty. With the track clear, Andretti veteran Ryan Norman took control and would drive off to a 4.6-second victory over McGinnis. Wisconsin native Aaron Tiedlitz was back with Velarde Auto Racing at Road America and delivered an impressive run to third. VK rebounded on Sunday, dominating the action from start to finish, posting his 3rd win of the year, joining his victories at St. Petersburg and the IndyCar GP weekend at IMS. Freedom 100 winner Oliver Askew improved on his 5th place finish from Saturday to complete the podium in 3rd on Sunday. The Indy Pro 2000 field continues to develop, and Parker Thompson and his Able Motorsports team rebounded from a couple of challenging outings to qualify on pole for race number 1. Once the race went green, RP Motorsports' Kyle Kirkwood was immediately on the charge from his P3 starting spot, taking the lead early and dominating the action. And by the time the checkered flag flew, RP Motorsport was rewarded with their best race since joining the Road to Indy last year, finishing 1st and 2nd with Guatemala's Ian Rodriguez taking his first podium in only his 2nd race weekend. Thompson fought hard for a crucial 3rd place result, finishing ahead of point leader Rasmus Lindt to close the gap in the title chase. On Sunday, Juncos Racing's Lindt led from pole, but Kirkwood would not be denied as he made a strong move under braking into the downhill turn 5, controlling the apex to grab hold of the lead. From there, the 2018 USF2000 champion simply managed the gap ahead of Lindt, completing the sweep of the Road America weekend after 15 clean and consistent laps. Thompson once again drove himself onto the podium, moving to 2nd in the title fight as a result. The Cooper Tires USF2000 Championship celebrated a new victor in Race 1 as Mazda Scholarship winner Hunter McElroy of New Zealand took the lead in the early going from his Pabst Racing teammate and pole sitter Colin Kaminsky. Jetting out from the rest of the field with McElroy, Kaminsky carded his 2nd consecutive podium finish to come home ahead of Newman Walks Racing's Cameron Shields. Sunday's race was all Eves as Braden and Cape Motorsports rose to the top of the order, passing McElroy for the lead before pulling away. Eves finished over 4 seconds ahead of his Cape teammate Darren Keene, who turned the fastest lap of the race to score his 2nd podium finish of the year. McElroy hung on to a spot in the top 3, finishing off a positive weekend in which he cut the gap on Eves ever so slightly. The series has reached the halfway point, and the championships will now begin to tighten, with just 5 race weekends still left on the 2019 schedule. back corner.
Hi, my name is Darren Keene. I'm from Boca Raton, Florida. I'm currently racing in the USF2000 championships in the Cape Motorsports number 2. I'm from Boca Raton, Florida. I was born there. Apart from my whole life, obviously, I lived in England for 2 years from when I was 14 to 16. And I karted over there a bunch, and I was just trying to improve my racing craft and stuff like that. I feel like as a kid growing up in England, you have a lot more freedom. Not like rights-based, obviously, but my parents wouldn't let me like walk to the park or like walk to the store or wherever living in Florida, but in England that's just the normal. So I would walk to school, which is like probably like a 25-minute walk, like walk to the park, hang out with my friends. Outside of racing, I really like anything like outside related, pretty much. Being in Florida, we have nice weather the whole year, so a lot of boating, fishing. I go skimboarding at the beach. I really like board-related stuff at school, like a longboard around to get to class and stuff like that. I think my favorite racetrack to this date is probably Watkins Glen. I'm pretty upset that it's not on the schedule anymore, but I'm really excited for Toronto. Like, I always just love street courses, especially one like Toronto, because it's just like, you know, a minute and 10 seconds of like manhandling the car. Follow me on the road to Indy this year at Darren_Keene25 on Instagram and Twitter, and Darren Keene Racing on Facebook.
Harrison Scott across the yard bricks. Huge wreck.
Road to Indy, story of the moment.
As we leave the Kettle Moraine region of Wisconsin, there are two stories that stand out: great team results and Soul Red winners. USF2000 stalwarts Pabst Racing from nearby Economowoc and their drivers Hunter McElray and Colin Kaminsky scored one win, stood on the podium 3 times, and collected 4 top 5s in their home race. Sophomore team RP Motorsport, with rookie drivers Kyle Kirkwood and Ian Rodriguez, visited Victory Lane twice. Andretti Autosport, with threesome Ryan Norman, Oliver Askew, and Robert McGinnis, had 1 win and 4 podiums in a successful visit to Sheboygan County. For the first time since the 2017 season opening event in St. Petersburg, all 3 cars featuring the Soul Red livery of the Mazda Advancement Scholarship winner visited Victory Lane on the same weekend. On Saturday, it was Road to Indy $200,000 shootout winner McElray winning his first USF2000 race, and reigning USF2000 champ Kirkwood winning his first Indy Pro 2000 race. Kirkwood went back to Victory Lane on Sunday and was joined by Juncos Racing Indy Lights rookie Renus VK, the reigning Indy Pro 2000 champion.
Boy, look at this freight train as now the Lucas dives down to the inside. 3 wide through turn 4. Something's gotta give.
Road to Indy, beyond the grid.
Hi, my name is Nikita Lastichkin. I'm from Russia, Moscow, and I live in Los Angeles. And I also drive for Exclusive Autosport, car number 90, Indy Pro 2000. I'm from Russia originally, but I moved to California when I was 16. Yeah, it's been pretty wild. What can I say? Living in Los Angeles for about 10 years now, I have a lot of history with the city, and I always thought it would be super awesome to just run through the entire city with all the streets closed out. You know, I've been planning to do this for a couple of years, and I ran a full marathon at under 4 hours. It's just an amazing experience. When I'm not at the racetrack, if I'm not doing something racing related, I'm trying to do anything so I'm not thinking about racing. So perhaps traveling. I like taking road trips, going to museums. I like reading books. I like playing video games. So fun stuff like that. I married my wife quite a few years ago, and she's amazing, and probably the best decision I made in my life, and have yet to regret it. It's been great. Little did we know, we actually discovered that we used to live across the street from each other back in Moscow, which is a huge city, 12 or 15 million people, something like that. And yeah, we used to live across the street. Follow me on Road to Indy, and you can follow me on my Facebook, Instagram, Nikita Goes Racing, and on Twitter, Nikita Goes Racing. But that's because there's not enough characters, not because I'm a gangster.
Oh, he makes contact. Look at this run down to turn 1.
Road to Indy next weekend preview.
The trio of Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tire Series now travels south from Elkhart Lake to Toronto for the next set of doubleheaders. McElroy's Saturday win allowed the Kiwi to move within 33 points of Eves, but a bounce back on Sunday by the Cape Motorsports rookie means he leaves Wisconsin with a 41-point lead in the chase for the advancement scholarship. 4 different teams have now dominated the 4 Indy Pro 2000 events to start the 2019 season. RP Motorsport driver Kyle Kirkwood scored his first 2 wins of the season to re-enter the championship conversation that has the top 5 drivers within 50 points of Juncos Racing rookie Rasmus Lind. The epic title battle for a 3-race NTT IndyCar Series scholarship got even closer with Rinus VeeKay's dominant Sunday win at America's National Park of Speed. Oliver Askew now leads his rival by a scant 3 points as Indy Lights heads to Canada for a pair of street fights in Toronto.
Drivers again, the very first rung, all of these drivers racing for a chance to win a scholarship that would put them in Indy Pro 2000 in 2020. Let's have a look at the grid as they have pulled on to this pit lane to get things underway for the second race of this double-header weekend. Again, Indy Pro 2000 already wrapping up their race. Weekend sweep by Kyle Kirkwood. USF2000 set to go right now, and after our IndyCar warm-up, Indy Lights will take the stage for the second race of their doubleheader. Let's have a look now at the 17 drivers set to go here in USF2000. Starting in the 17th position, a driver who has won this year, scored a victory in Toronto. He is starting at the tail of the field after issues in qualifying. I'll tell you, keep your eye on the number 2 of Darren Keene for Cape Motorsports, the driver from Boca Raton, Florida. 3rd place in points coming in, but he is going to have to start at the tail of the field in 17th position. Moving now to row number 8 on the outside, making his debut here this weekend, a team member with Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing on the Takuma Sato car, Timmy Paglioso in the number 77, his debut here this weekend with Legacy Autosport. Inside of that row, starting in the 15th position, the number 7 for J. Howard Driver Development, it's Christian Bogle. We'll go now to row number 7 on the outside, the only young lady in the Road to Indy here this year from Brazil for Pabst Racing in the 24, Bruna Tomaselli, starting in the 14th position, and alongside Bruna from Mexico for D-Force Racing, the rookie Manuel Suleiman in the number 12. Up now to row number 6. Add these 2 drivers together, they're 28 years of age. They're both 14 on the outside from California for Newman Walks Racing, the number 36 of Nolan Siegel. And on the inside, the American driver who lives in Puerto Rico, it is Reese Gold in the number 3 for Cape Motorsports. Into the top 10 now on the outside. Driver who was able to work his way up, a decent run into the top 5, finished 4th yesterday from England for BN Racing, Matt Round Garrido in the number 27, starting in 10th. Round Garrido, a strong podium finish in the second race at Toronto, a good run to the top 5 yesterday. He's going to have to start deeper in the field, a P10 starting spot for the Englishman. Inside of that row from Brazil, it's a famous last name for sure, a very talented young driver, Eduardo Barrichello in the number 41 for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports. He'll start in the 9th position. Moving now up to row number 4, Jack William Miller from Miller Vinatieri Motorsports, the 16-year-old in the number 40, starting 8th. And alongside him, the 3rd of our 14-year-olds. A great run yesterday, Jack Crawford for Cape Motorsports in the number 4 out of Houston, Texas, starting in the 7th position. Moving now to row number 6 on the outside. Your current point leader. He's got work to do because everybody's breathing down his neck. From nearby Gahanna, Ohio. He's an Ohio boy. He's a Buckeye. Braden Eves in the number 8 machine for Cape Motorsports, your point leader, starting in the 6th position. Inside of that row, P5 from Greenfield, Indiana, in the Legacy Autosport number 14, we have Zach Holden. 3 of the front 4 spots dominated by drivers from Pabst Racing, and it's an all Pabst row number 2. On the outside, rookie driver, made his debut here last year in the USF2000 program for Pabst Racing in the 21. Yuvan Sundaramurthy will start in the 4th position. On the inside of that row, the number 23 from Illinois, Colin Kaminsky. Kaminsky and Sundaramurthy on row number 2. 17 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row. They have both won races this year. The driver on the outside of the front row, a winner yesterday, Christian Rasmussen from Denmark in the number 6 for J. Howard Driver Development. He'll start second today, but the driver who is on the pole position in the number 22, second place in points from New Zealand, the scholarship winner from last year's shootout. He's got the Mazda Soul Red colors on the USF17 for Pabst Racing. Your pole sitter, number 22, Hunter McElray. So it'll be McElray and Rasmussen on row 1, Kaminsky and Sundaramurthy on row 2, Holden and Eves row 3, Crawford and Miller row 4, Barrichello and Round-Garrido row 5, Gold and Siegel row 6, Suleiman and Tomaselli row 7, Bogle, Pagliuso, and Keene at the very tail of the field. Keep your eye on the number 2 of Darren Keene. Ladies and gentlemen, time to fire things up. Joining me down here now on pit lane to give the call to fire up these engines, one of our guests from Cooper Tire, Bryce Miller, to give the command.
On behalf of everyone at Cooper Tires, drivers, start your engines.
Engines coming to life down here on pit lane. 17 drivers on the very first rung of the road to Indy. John Phippen, this is going to be a good one. It's time to go USF2000 racing.
Thanks so much, Rob. I'm joined in the booth by Cameron Shields. Cameron from Newman Walks Racing. Sadly, a funding issue, Cameron, keeps you out of this starting grid, but we hope you get something together to finish out the season.
Yeah, it certainly is a real shame that I'm sitting up here watching everyone drive by when I really want to be out there, but we're working harder than ever, myself and everyone at Newman Walks Racing, to make sure I can finish the last 2 races of the season.
Excellent. Well, great to have your expertise here in the booth with Rob and I. Rob's making his way back up to our commentary position as the car's just about getting ready to roll out. There goes the pace car, and the car's behind. My name's John Phippen, speaking to you from the commentary position overlooking the start-finish line here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, but I'm joined by 3 other announcers around the track, in addition to Rob and Cameron here in the commentary booth. Rusty Bell will pick up the cars as they leave my view at turn number 1.
Cars coming out of the pit lane exit, which I catch underneath that turn 1 bridge, one of the fastest corners on the track, as they make their way up the straightaway into that keyhole turn. 180-degree off-camber corner. The road falls away to the pit, the curbing on the outside of that corner as they'll roll up on that, coming onto the long back straightaway, 3,000 feet with a little kink in the middle. I'm just down from that kink here, about 2/3 of the way down that straightaway, but get to see the cars at their fastest here at the top end of the straightaway, as it will lead them into the S's.
As they head down this long back straightaway into the best passing zone on the track. Heavy braking area for turn number 4. They're in the view of Brian Culbertson.
Yeah, as the field makes their way past Rusty Bell and into the best passing area of the track, which is into turn number 4, they enter the part of the track we call the S's, or Madness. It's 3 turns, 2 names. It's a hard right-hander. They climb back up a hill through turn number 5. It's a left-hander. They drop down the hill into turn number 6. They go underneath the Honda Bridge and make their way to Thunder Valley.
Thunder Valley is the purview of Tom Michaels. Hey, Tom.
Good morning, John, and as we await the cars to appear, coming through turn number 7, that's the one part of the racetrack that none of us can really see real well. But as they come through then turn 8, a couple of right-handers with 9, they kind of round it off as they come between 8 and 9 through the off-camber turn number 9, up over a little bit of a rise. Car gets a little bit light as they come through there, and then down into Thunder Valley. A sweeping right-hander would be turn number 10 as they go under the Total Court Bridge, and then up into the carousel turn as they come off the very fast turn 11 into the front part of the race course.
Turn 11 is where we can pick them up once again, and that's where the field is right now as they begin to line up 2 by 2. Dave Heitmeyer, guest of Cooper Tires, about to wave the green flag. Rob Howden back in the booth with us, getting ready to call the start.
We've seen some great momentum for Kyle Kirkwood in Indy Pro 2000. Will we see the same thing for Christian Rasmussen? He's got back-to-back wins here in Toronto and Mid-Ohio. Hunter McElroy bringing him down, getting ready to go. Good start. Green, green, green. Flag getting displayed here at start finish, and we're underway. The first run down into turn number 1. They'll work their way out under the bridge. That big run out of 1 down to 2 now to the keyhole. Let's see how things set up as the drivers will work their way around the racetrack here for the first time. Big run down to the inside of the track for Hunter McElroy, but to the outside comes Rasmussen. Little wiggle on the brakes. Kaminsky and Sundaramurthy sliding into that 3rd and 4th place spots. They'll work their way down the straightaway into the view of Rusty Bell.
Down the straightaway, it still is Hunter McElroy at the point. Rasmussen in second. The 23 car of Colin Kaminsky in third. They've got a little bit of gap back to the 4th place, but they're all 4 wide.
4 wide back then. We were 2 wide for the lead there just for a moment. McElroy able to hang on to the lead as he goes over turn number 5. We still got some good side-by-side racing. It's the 8 car. Brandon Eves trying to make a position up. Doesn't get it done, but headed for you now, Tom Michaels.
Yep, very close all the way through this pack. As you look back, there's no gap until you get back to the number 3 car, really. That's really back in the 12th position. Everybody through turn number 9 up into 11 now. That left-hander leader, Hunter McElroy.
Yeah, field streaming in now down to the single file. Darren Keene having trouble getting things rolling. I said he started at the tail of the field, got boxed up a little bit. He's going to try to make a move here pretty soon, but we'll give you a rundown. Here they come out of the final corner, cross the line here. Good run there for Hunter McElroy. He's your leader over Christian Rasmussen. Colin Kaminsky in second, Sundaramurthy in third. What a good start here as well for Zach Holden. He sets nicely into the 5th spot. Matt Roungarito 6th, Braden Eves in the 7th position, Jack Crawford 8th, Jack Miller in 9th, and Reese Gold rounding out your top 10. There's single file, as I said, coming up here into turn number 2. Darren Keene trying to go to work here on Bruno Tomaselli, the Pabst Racing driver, has not been able to make a move yet, but again, single file 20 lapper, and the opening lap goes in the books here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. This USF2000 championship getting through all the different disciplines earlier this year. Of course, a couple of street races, St. Petersburg and Toronto, the Oval at Lucas Oil Raceway. You've got the track, the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Here's Keene to the inside there, getting a move around Nolan Siegel. So Keene starting to get more aggressive. He got Tomaselli into the back chute. You can see him as they come out the turn number 7 there. And indeed, Keene with a couple spots, able to get by Tomaselli and Nolan Siegel. So again, not surprising, John, to see Darren Keene getting a little aggressive here. I think he was calm for the first lap, but lap 2, he was ready to go.
And as we talk about the front, we didn't talk much at all about Christian Rasmussen yesterday because he just absolutely checked out from the pole position. But right now he's in second and does not appear to be mounting a challenge to Hunter McElroy. So we'll see how that shakes out as Christian Rasmussen solidly in that second spot. Colin Kaminsky, who finished on the box yesterday as well, in third. His teammate Sundaramurthy right behind him as we've got the 36 coming into the pit lane.
Yeah, that's Nolan Siegel coming into pit lane. Another damaged wing, same thing as he had yesterday. Damage on that front wing, but there was a yellow at that point that allowed him to get back to the tail of the field. They're going to get this wing changed, the potential for him to potentially go down a lap. We'll see the team going to work, the Newman Walks Racing crew. They're looking, of course, at the front suspension as well, making sure everything's okay on the car of Nolan Siegel. Again, his first season. Cameron Shields, we'll come to you. He's been your teammate throughout the year. Only 14 years of age, a young kart racer. Just every place he goes, it's new. Everything's brand new. Doesn't have the experience you have. But talk a little about Nolan Siegel, a really, really great young man.
Yeah, he certainly is. I mean, he's been doing a terrific job this year. Obviously, I've seen that the most out of everyone. I'm in the truck with him after every session. I'm out there on the track with him as well. And knowing where I was at his age too, he's really progressed a long way this year. I mean, there's so many things to work on, and it's such a competitive field. I mean, we've got champions from all over the world competing in this race, and it's very, very tough. So for him to be finishing in the top 10 throughout this season has been a great result for him.
I'll tell you one thing, gloves are off right around 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, and 11th, John. That's Braden Eves in the 8, Jack Miller in the 40, Jack Crawford in the 4, Reese Gold in the 3, and Manuel Suleiman in the number 12. They were essentially side by side as they came out into Thunder Valley. That was that was a little sketchy, I think.
Braden Eves was up in 7th spot, and Jack Miller tried to go inside him at turn number 9 and shuffled him all the way back to 11th and allowed Jack Crawford to move up to 7th. So Jack William Miller having a good run here.
And championship implications to Braden Eves, the guy who came in with a pretty solid lead. He hasn't had a lot of great results, not the best runs in Toronto, wasn't able to get back to the podium. Same goes for yesterday. So again, watching the issues here for Braden Eves, he'll have to gather things back up. Guys, we got a great battle for 4th in turn number 4.
That battle's over with, so new 4th place runner gets the pass done right on the inside of turn number 4. That 14 car, Zach Holden, gets the pass done. Actually starting to move away just a little bit, so Zach Holden, good run now through the S's. He's picked up a couple car lengths, Tom, right in front of you. Zach Holden on the move.
Yeah, no real challenges as they come through here. On that last lap, we saw contact. One of the cars involved in the contact was Jack Miller in the number 40 as they came through here. This is not a place you usually see passing in turn number 9, but we had it there, and another car came a cropper of it because of that contact.
Let's take an opportunity to talk a little bit here about Zach Holden in that number 14 machine. Started the season off with a different team and actually had to sit out a couple of races. A young driver from Greenfield, Indiana, a lot of talent. He's one of the top young kart racers when he runs in the senior karting ranks in the top national series, like the SuperKarts USA program. You'll see him running for race wins. The budget, he's been working on to be able to get a full-time budget to run, an opportunity to run here with Legacy Autosport. They started the season with Alex Barron, a French driver, not so much young anymore, in his early 20s, a winner in USF2000. He was a winner in Indy Lights as well, but started the season, Legacy Autosport, a brand new team, Mike Meyer and his crew. They decide they're going to put Zach Holden in the car in Toronto. He had one very good race and then one issue where he got into the wall. But this kid's got so much talent. You watch the pass that he was able to make down in turn number 4, and then he's actually pulled away already from Sundar Murthy. And you think about how good the Pabst Racing crew has been here this past weekend. McElroy so quick, Kaminsky, Sundar Murthy, even we had, and Tomaselli was right in the fight there as well. But Holden, in what is essentially a single car team, only his second race, they do have Timmy Paglioso with them this weekend, kind of fighting, I want to say above the weight level a little bit, John, but that's a good team. They've got lots of experience, and Zach Holden's a talented driver.
Christian Rasmussen not letting Hunter McElroy get away. It's about 0.6 of a second, and on that last lap, he was about 0.2 quicker. It's down to just under 0.6. Colin Kaminsky dropping back just a bit, about 1.5 seconds behind. Zach Holden, the man on the move, though, he's running a little quicker than Kaminsky, so Holden might have something to say about the podium here.
We're going to keep watching that gap between Kaminsky and Zach Holden. You see the drivers working their way now up into the keyhole, bit of an uphill run into that right-hander, then it comes back downhill, part of the undulating nature of this circuit. Downhill, off camber, you're trying to roll back on the throttle, Cameron. That's a tough part of this racetrack, isn't it? Turn 2.
Yeah, certainly is. It's very tough, but it's very critical as well because, of course, it runs onto the longest straight on the track as well.
Good input here from Cameron Shields, of course, a driver for Newman Walks Racing, won at Lucas Oil Raceway earlier this year. Just had some trouble with the budget, kind of ran out of funds, but doing his best to try to make sure he gets back on the track in Portland and Laguna Seca. Has a bunch of guys that are looking to support him. If you want a driver to support, this is the guy to do it. Cameron Shields from Toowoomba, Australia. Great to have him in the booth with us here this weekend. Half a second the lead now for McElroy. We'll continue to watch Christian Rasmussen. If there's a driver right now in USF2000 with a similar momentum than you have with Kyle Kirkwood at Indy Pro 2000, this is it. A young driver from Denmark. Do have a driver coming off there you saw coming through the carousel. Let's pick a number up there, John, if we can. I want to say that might have been Sundar Murthy.
I believe it was.
Indeed, the number 21 of you and Sundar Murthy just getting off a little bit, and that's another part of this racetrack you can talk about, Cameron. When you come out of Thunder Valley, you crest the hill, it's kind of a blind corner, and you're just trying to roll as much speed as you can into that corner.
It's very, very tough, and in these cars, it's certainly not flat. Some people might be having a small break, some maybe not. It's that might be just a driver preference thing, but as you come into the corner, the car's very loaded. It comes uphill, there's on camber, and as you get into the higher load part of the corner, it unloads as you come over the crest. So it's very tough, and we've seen a lot of drivers go off there over the weekend.
Yeah, we have. It was one of those ones, John, where it was really just 2 wheels off, but quickly became 4 wheels kind of thing. But good on Juven for holding on. He ends up finishing in 7th we've seen different results of doing that in that corner.
Exactly right. Yeah, you could go all the way off and get to the tire barrier. So Yuvan Sundaramurthy did a great job of hanging on to that car. He only lost 2 spots. But Matt Round-Garrido, once again, making his way toward the front. He's up to 5th now. And Jack Crawford coming with him, the best of the Cape drivers right at the moment.
2 straight top 5 finishes for Matt Round-Garrido, trying to do it again here in what is essentially a single-car team for BN Racing. Round-Garrido, a very talented driver, an open wheel, ran the single-seaters, the Formula 1600s in Ireland, over in Europe and in the UK. That is a tremendous training ground. The wingless cars, the F1600s, and Matt Round-Garrido really starting to get comfortable here in the USF17. He's P5. Jack Crawford now up to 6th. Sundaramurthy back to 7th. Jack Miller 8th. Reese Gold in 9th, and Manuel Suleiman in 10th. Braden Eves, who started up in the 6th spot, has fallen down to 11th. You guys kind of chronicled the issue with Jack Crawford, rather Jack Miller. Darren Keen's been able to get back up. He's only a second behind his teammate Eves. They have to now go to work to see if they can't get by Manuel Suleiman. Let's have a look at this lead battle here now, guys. Half a second last time by the stripe. You can see, Brian, that Rasmussen closing on McElroy.
Yeah, he's been closing the last couple laps. Oh, big push on Rasmussen's car. That's going to cost him some time here. He just missed his turn-in point for coming over turn number 5. He has dropped back about 3 car lengths from that. We'll see if he recovers. But, man, the front end of that car washed out big time.
Cameron, let's talk about that corner because, as Brian said, you just missed the apex a little bit there. Your turn-in point and the car starts pushing out. Is that something you found in your test day here?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. The car's going to be extremely loaded into that corner. It's a downshift as well. You'll be running 3rd through the previous corner and downshifting into 2nd into there. So that's going to upset the car as well. And you can see that happen to Rasmussen then. As soon as he turned in, the car wiggled and he went offline. And when you're offline on the weekends of IndyCar, the groove is so strong because of all the rubber. So once you get out of that, you lose a lot of grip, and that's exactly what happened.
Good detail there from Cameron Shields. And again, though, we talked about, guys, you guys are talking about how you're watching this battle between Rasmussen. He's getting closer and closer. Well, Hunter McElroy just set fast lap of the race, a half a second quicker on that last lap. Excellent lap there for Hunter McElroy as he looks to get his 2nd win of the season. McElroy and Rasmussen 1-2. A potential issue here. John, you're picking out Jack Miller falling down the order. Nothing we were seeing here on the screen, but a potential issue for Jack. He fell back to the 14th spot.
I'm guessing he must have had a spin at some point because he was up into 8th position as Reese Gold was putting pressure on him. And then he's lost it. The battle for 5th right in front of Brian Culbertson.
That battle is nose to tail. The 27, Round-Garrido, able to hold off Crawford, but those 2 guys were nose to tail at the end of the back straightaway. Round-Garrido able to hold on to the position, though.
Just saw that coming in front of you, Tom.
Yep, right now they come by us, a couple of car lengths between the 27 of Round-Garrido and then the car of Crawford. So there's going to be no challenge at this point, but that's getting close again.
Coming out of Thunder Valley down into the carousel. You guys are watching the Road to Indy TV app. You saw it. A little wiggle there coming out of that corner as he tried to roll in. That was Hunter McElroy. Little tank slapper, but he was able to control it nicely and get the thing back to where he wanted it to be. And in the process of that tank slapper, turning the fast lap of the race as well. So maybe the fast way around here is to be a little bit out of control. I don't know.
Loose is fast, they always say.
It is 1:21.735. Good lap there for Hunter McElroy. 1.1 seconds the advantage. You can see it on the racetrack there. And again, that was Zach Holden trying to close up here on Kaminsky. He's 1.8 seconds back, but those 2 drivers trading almost identical lap times last time by, both doing 1:22 flat. So hard to make any ground up if you're not at least a 10th or so quicker. There's the leaders all the way down into turn number 4. Again, the long straightaway, this very difficult 4-5-6 combo. The drivers coming back up over the hill. Cameron kind of detailed how tough it is with that gear change down to 2nd. You don't want to upset the car while you're turning into the turn 5 corner. Back down the hill to turn number 6. This is always a tough corner here as well in front of Tom as you come through that turn 8 and then into turn number 9. This track so fraught with peril. You can make a mistake anywhere, Cameron, and find yourself off track or in the wall.
It certainly is. It's very difficult and it's very technical. And we've talked about what could be the most difficult corner around the track, but it's so hard because every single corner is difficult. And we've seen that now with a few small mistakes from drivers across the track, and a lot of that's just coming. They're pushing. They're trying as hard as they can. Like Hunter right now, he's got the lead by about a second. And ordinarily, that's a reasonably comfortable gap when you're turning similar lap times. But he saw how fast Christian was yesterday. He managed to win by nearly 10 seconds. So out there right now, he'll be pushing as hard as he can to increase that lead.
John, there's a reason why this track is one of the favorites of all the drivers when they come here, because it just is so challenging and there's so many different aspects. But we're seeing a really good battle shaping up here. They'll be in front of you in a second, Rusty. It's Matt Roungarito, Jack Crawford, and Yuvan Sundaramurthy. Those three drivers, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, they've been close together, just moving slightly back and forth here the last few laps. Right now, the number 4 car is the one that's in that challenging position. Crawford looking for a way around Matt Roungarito as he ends up being about a car length at the top end of the straight.
Yeah, our TV pictures have been following the leaders around, but that great battle back for 5th is one we hopefully can spend just a little more time with, as the top 4 pretty much spread out. The top 5 positions, really no real challenges at the moment.
You see the Cape Motorsports drivers trying to work their way forward. Braden Eves now into the 9th spot. Reese Gold in 8th, and Darren Keene, who started dead last, now in the 10th position. So if we look at the championship implications right now, how about this? Braden Eves has 5 race wins, but he has not had a good run over the last couple of races. He would be, as they run on the racetrack, 249 points. Hunter McElray with the win and the fast lap. There's a bonus for fast lap. He's already setting himself up almost to get the bonus point for the most laps led. At this point, it's just 3-point difference between first and second. That is absolutely tremendous. The only 2 drivers who have been able to get over 200 points. Then you go back to Darren Keene, who would be how far back in the championship now? What's that? 246, 249. He would be right around 51 points back in the championship. Keene would have to really go on a streak here, as there's, for USF2000, only 2 more weekends still to go, Portland and Laguna Seca.
This great battle with Matt Roungarito at the front, coming down in front of Brian Culbertson right now.
Yeah, he's able to close it back up once again as they make their way through the S's. But we've been watching now with Roungarito and Crawford, those 4th, 5th, and 6th place. And it's nose to tail. Sundaramurthy there closes up in behind too. And there's a pack of another 3 cars behind these guys. They begin to close up too.
Yeah, that battle now for 5th. 27 car through, just a car length behind the 4 car. Jack Crawford, one of the cars, put the left side wheels off into the dirt. Doesn't lose a whole lot of time there. Continuing the battle, 5th place belongs to Roungarito.
Looks to me like Darren Keene has been able to get by his teammate Braden Eves. Keene had a big off on Thursday testing. You can see the cars got a little bit different, got a big black bodywork on the other side. I think he's been able to get by. Indeed, Darren Keene in the number 2. Move him now to the 9th spot. What does that do to the championship? Braden Eves up by only 2 points now. Yep. So, again, Braden Eves back into 10th position. It has not been a good run of races for the driver from Ohio. Again, 5 wins to start the season, 5 wins in the first 7 races, but he has not been on the podium in the last 3 events, and that does not look like it's going to happen here today. So Braden Eves has got to dial things back in when we go to Portland, a track that he did do well at last year, actually running Cameron for your team. Newman Walks Racing. That was his debut last year at Portland, and that experience is definitely going to play well for Braden Eves. Let's go back to the battle on track with Brian Cuthbertson.
Side by side there, Crawford finally able to get that pass done, solidifies it as he goes over turn number 5. So the number 4 car, Crawford, gets around the 27 of Roungarito. He is able to pull away about a half a car length, make it a car length now, Tom, headed for you, but switch there for the 5th position. Crawford up 1 spot.
Yeah, and there's going to be a challenge coming up here from Sundaramurthy. He has put himself right behind the brand new 5th place car of Roungarito.
I'll tell you, a guy to watch right now is Darren Keene. When he got by Braden Eves, he's been able to stretch away. He's at the tail of this group there, right behind now his teammate Reese Gold. And Darren has been able to leave Eves in his dust. Again, out of the final corner onto the front straightaway. Look for Keene now to get up here on the gearbox of Reese Gold. That's going to be a good battle to watch. They come through turn 1. I don't know if he's in a position to try it over in turn number 2 yet, but I would bet, Rusty, you're going to see a battle. That's going to be for 8th position. Gold in that gold-colored number 3, and Darren Keene in the white and black number 2.
Yeah, that's going to be a 5-way battle coming up. All 5 of those cars close together. Crawford sort of leading this pack, but they have all tightened it up here, and there are now 5 cars that are going to be involved in that. Down in front of me, the 2 cars probably peeks out. I don't know that he's close enough, though, Brian.
He is trying late on the brakes. What a pass right there at the very end.
Guaranteed.
So that 2 car gets that pass done. That's about the latest braking I've seen all weekend long. Darren Keene pulls that pass out of a magic hat.
Yeah, cars now kind of equidistance, though Jack Crawford is starting to separate himself from a real battle behind him. So there's no battle for 5th, but 6th, 7th, and 8th. Man, that's getting close.
Yeah, Darren Keene is on the move. He's the driver we're keying on right now. There's Crawford. There is then Round Garrido, followed by Sundar Murthy. Keene now into the 8th position. We still have 6 laps remaining. Darren Keene now trying to push forward. Again, a winner in Toronto, driver from Boca Raton, Florida. Did a couple of races in 2017, not quite the full season last year. His first full season of USF2000 competition, and he is getting ready to push here now. And again, Keene, last time by, just about 0.4 of a second behind. It's Rusty Bell now, just 2 car lengths as they come out of the keyhole.
Down the straight, we'll see if he tries that late brake maneuver once again, as he did last time. He's certainly into the draft right now, still about 2 car lengths in front of me. He may need to wait another lap, Brian. I don't think he's close enough this lap.
He didn't look close enough last lap, but he stuck it in there. He gets it down to about a car length right now. So Keene's the guy to watch, that number 2 car. Keene made that beautiful pass last time. He's starting to set him up now. It's about a car length between them as they go underneath the Honda Bridge. Tom Michaels headed for you.
Yeah, they are still nose to tail as they come through here. Watching the 2 car. He has lost just a little bit of momentum there. He's a couple of car lengths down behind.
I would have to believe that Keene's going to have the confidence after that pass that Brian called down in turn number 4. He's stacking it up. Everybody, in fact, stacking it up behind Round Garrido. I would expect you're going to see Keene start to get aggressive here. Unless Sundar Murthy can get by Round Garrido, he's going to be in his own trouble. But actually a good run out of the final corner. Sundar Murthy right up under the gearbox of Round Garrido coming out of turn number 1. They'll get that long run down here again. Sundar Murthy made his debut last year here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course with exclusive Autosport, trying to close up here on Matt Round Garrido. Not close enough, though. He had to make a move because I'll tell you, Darren Keene is hungry. He wants another spot, a potential 6th-place finish if he gets to the front of this group. Rusty, looking good this time down the straightaway.
He's close enough this time already to make that pass at the top end again as he's in the slipstream. The draft now, he peeks out, Brian.
He looks to the inside. He pulls the trigger. Man, Keene is so good on the brakes. He made that look almost too easy. I tell you what, Round Garrido better be watching his mirrors because Keene can pull it on either side and make a pass at the end of the back straightaway. Darren Keene right there in front of you, Tom Michaels.
Yeah, a little bit of twitch out of the 2 car. He is just ahead of the 21 of the car he just passed, Sundar Murthy. They head up through Thunder Valley. No change as they hit 11.
I'll tell you, Darren Keene, John, is rolling right now. Hunter McElroy just reset fast up at the race, but we are keying on this battle, which is now for the 6th position. Matt Round Garrido in the BN Racing Machine, a couple of back-to-back top 5s. Doesn't look like it's going to happen today. Currently P6 with a very hungry Darren Keene right behind him in the Cape Motorsports number 2. They'll work their way out of turn number 1. And this has kind of been, not quite back-to-back passes. One gap in the middle as Keene set up Sundar Murthy. But right now, looks like he is ready to go after the driver, Matt Round Garrido. And after that, Rusty Bell, it could be his teammate Jack Crawford for a top 5.
Yeah, we're watching that, but also the 3rd-place battle has gotten close now. The 14 is Zach Holden right on the back of Colin Kaminsky. Then that gap back to this battle that we're following. Here he goes. Keene now has to move to the outside to try this pass, Brian.
Keene's on the outside there. We'll see if they both hold it in there. Keene holds it in. Keene is making passes down here in the S's that are unbelievable, and he keeps the car so smooth. Darren Keene doing a great job making his way up through here. He has got a lot of ground to make up, a few laps to do it. We'll see if Darren Keene able to move up any more spots.
Brian, let me tell you this. This is a kid here who battled early in the season. He got his first win just 2 weeks ago in Toronto, and John, you and I have talked about what a win means to a young driver.
Yep.
His very first Road to Indy victory, it's given him the confidence, kind of changed the mindset a little bit, took some of the pressure off. Remember, he started dead last on this field, 17th after some issues in qualifying. Darren Keene has worked his way up into this 6th position. We're going to watch lap times here as well, guys, to see if he's not able to close up on Jack Crawford. He's 3.6 seconds back, but only 3 laps to go. You got to believe that that might be it for Darren Keene, but nonetheless, putting on a show coming through with, as you guys call it, Brian, you had 3 passes from him. Amazing run as well. But they're still racing, guys. Rusty, check out that battle as well with Matt Round Garrido. He's got to hold off Sundar Murthy still.
Watching that, I'm still watching Zach Holden now. He peeks out to the outside. He's going to try this before the end of the race right now as we see Garrido coming down with a lot of pressure behind 3 cars trying to get around him.
See if anybody pulls the trigger here. Round Garrido able to hold that pack off. Keene able to get away from them easily, but Round Garrido has got 4 cars behind him, all trying to get around him.
I'll tell you what I like right now is that's Hunter McElroy out front. Again, we're not seeing it. If you're watching the screen, we're really keying on this battle between 6th all the way back to about 11th. But Hunter McElroy is getting the job done out front. 1.06 seconds. Christian Rasmussen is not giving it up at all. And we're also trying to key a bit on this battle for the final position on the podium in 3rd. Pretty good advantage still for Colin Kaminsky. The gap across the line about a half a second. Both drivers in the low 122s. But again, they're keying on this battle again behind Darren Keene. He has made his move to 6th position. Matt Round Garrido in 7th. He's got Yuvan Sundaramurthy right behind him. Reese Gold, Braden Eves, and Manuel Suleiman. 18 laps in the books, guys. Just 2 more laps remaining. And based on lap times, 0.8 of a second between 1st and 2nd. But Rasmussen, guys, was 0.2 quicker last time by.
Reese Gold goes wide and loses that pack now. He is well behind that, so he drops out of this battle that we're watching. So the 2-car Keene clear. There's another car going wide at turn 1, but there's a good battle right now. Garrido getting a challenge.
Getting a challenge on the high side. They're still side by side. Also watch the battle for the lead, the battle for 3rd. They touch! The 27 Round Garrido goes off the track. The 21 car, Sundaramurthy, gets into him. Round Garrido able to get the car refired and to rejoin here. But, man, those 2 cars came together. Everybody back on the track. We're green in the S's.
Yeah, Brian, we switched over on the camera just as you were calling that. We saw Round Garrido go to the outside. Let's try to get a replay here. We got 2 to go, but we're going to get a replay of what happened down there in the corner, guys. Cameron, let's have a look at this. I'll call it, then you can give me your input. Side by side, that is Sundaramurthy and Matt Round Garrido. That looks to me like that was just an over-anxious move by Sundaramurthy to the inside. Cameron, your thoughts?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those incidents where it's not great for anyone. Of course, both of them were involved, and it just seemed to me that coming into turn 4, Yuvan was right behind, and at that stage, you're going to have dirty air. He's going to have no front grip, and we could see he just understeered straight off the track, and it wasn't much. It was just 1 tire in the dirt, but that's all it was for him to slide up and get into the back of the BN car.
One more lap remaining here, folks. The battle for the lead.
We're on the final lap.
This is the final circuit here. The gap down to just 0.7 of a second. Another 0.2 push there by Rasmussen, quicker than the leader McElroy, but he's likely going to run out of time. Cameron giving us a good look at the incident, of course, that we had over there in turn number 4. Just some contact, but leaders working their way now into Thunder Valley. Let's keep the focus, and we haven't done it all race long. Let's do it now. Hunter McElroy looking to grab his 2nd win of the season. The driver from New Zealand for Pabst Racing rolls his way down here into the carousel. Nothing that Christian Rasmussen can do. Coming out of the final corner here at Mid-Ohio, the winner in race 2 for USF2000, Hunter McElroy. Count that as another top 2 finish for Christian Rasmussen. What a run for him. 2 wins. And I want to say he was second in I think it's 4 straight top 2s for Christian Rasmussen. What a run he is on as well. Colin Kaminsky 3rd, Zach Holden 4th. 5th was Jack Crawford, 6th Darren Keene. How did Braden Eves find himself back up into 7th? Good run for Braden. The gap now in the championship, John, 5 points between Braden Eves and Hunter McElroy.
Reese Gold was in front of him, and Reese had that problem up in the keyhole turn, and that allowed both Eves and Suleiman to get by him.
Bruna Tomaselli started down in the 14th spot. She got a couple positions up into the top 10 as well. But for Hunter McElroy, good for him to get back up on top of the horse. Again, the lone win he had was at Road America, the first race. But he, too, like some of the other drivers, has been very consistent. Only 2 times he's finished off the podium this year, and that's why he has clawed his way back into championship contention. The title and the battle for the scholarship to go to Indy Pro 2000 far from over. 2 events, 4 races still to come. Portland and Laguna Seca still on the schedule, still on the docket for these drivers. Braden Eves in 7th, but there it is right there, John. Hunter McElroy with his 2nd win of the season. A half a second victory over Christian Rasmussen, who is on a streak of his own. 4 straight podium finishes. Colin Kaminsky able to hold off a determined Zach Holden throughout that entire event. Kaminsky on the podium. Zach Holden in 4th. Jack Crawford 5th as the Cape Motorsports drivers finding some more speed here in race 2. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 9th with Jack Crawford, Darren Keene easily putting on the show of the race.
No
coming
question.
From dead last to 6th.
I think he's got the hard charger locked up.
Some amazing passes called by Brian down there in turn number 4. Inside, outside, didn't matter. Darren Keene 6th, Braden Eves in 7th, Manuel Suleiman 8th, Reese Gold in 9th, and Bruna Tomaselli from 14th, making her way into the top 10.
Great race, great way to finish it. Rob's on his way down to Victory Circle. Cameron, thanks again for being with us in the booth. Great to have your expertise, and let's hope you get a ride for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to watching a great day of racing.
Indeed, thank you so much. Cameron Shields from Newman Walk. All right, getting ready to gear up for Victory Circle ceremonies. Rob Howden making his way down there. After that, we'll have a 30-minute warm-up for the NTT IndyCar Series drivers as they will take to the track for the first time today to work the kinks out in preparation for this afternoon's feature event, the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio. We'll stand aside for just a second while we can see Darren Keene getting his gloves off, getting ready to climb out of the cockpit. I'm saying, yeah, we'll give him some time to do that. As we're heading down to Victory Circle in just a few minutes after the radio interviews, we'll stand by for just a moment, and we'll be back with you with Victory Circle ceremonies with Rob Howden.